This week on the Honor Roll podcast, we'll be talking to a Judy Genshaft Honors College alum and a winner of the 2024 USF Outstanding Young Alumni Award, Corbyn Lichon. All that and more coming up next. Hey, Honors Bulls. Welcome to the Honor Roll podcast, the flagship podcast of the Judy Genshaft Honors College Podcast Network. I am your host, Caroline Merriman, a third-year student studying English and biology. This week, I am flying solo as the only host, so I'll jump right into this week's big question. So the question that we'll be investigating this week is, what does success mean to you? I think as a student, we're often programmed to think that success is about getting the best grades and internships so that you can get the highest paycheck and a stable job after college. However, I think we often find that this definition of success is not always fulfilling or sustainable for our long-term happiness. For me, this is because passion and purpose in life are key components of happiness and fulfilling a personal sense of achievement. If we aren't successful in what matters most to us, then that success doesn't feel important. At least that's personally what I've discovered during my time in college, that to me, success is building a life with space for all my passions. I spent the first 2 years in college majoring in marketing and English to try and find a stable job in business, and despite my success in internships and securing a certain path to a job after college, I wasn't happy because I wasn't following my personal passions. And so now I've changed my major, I'm doing English and ecology, and even though my path is much more unpredictable, I know that great things are to come. But the success of each person is variable, and there's no right or wrong answer to what that means to you, and I think we all have to discover that for ourselves. Today, we'll be talking to a very successful honors alum, Corbyn Lichon, who was recently recognized with the 2024 USF Young Alumni Award for her already impressive career and contribution to mentorship in the USF community. Stay tuned.
Want to live the Bulls life? Join the Judy Genshaft Honors College Living Learning Community. As a member of the Honors LLC, you enjoy special events like the Tapas Night Study Abroad Expo, service learning fairs, career prep workshops, LLC-only recreational travel, and more. The Honors LLC is available on all three University of South Florida campuses, but space is limited, so apply now. Visit the Judy Genshaft Honors College website to learn more.
All right, everyone, let's get started. Joining us now, we have USF Honors alum, Corbyn Lichon. Corbyn is the Chief Accounting Officer at the Baldwin Group, one of the 20 largest insurance brokerage firms in the nation, which serves more than 2 million clients across the country. A CPA, Corbyn serves on the board of USF's Accounting Circle and is a USF Muma College of Business corporate mentor. Would you just like to introduce yourself a little bit to the audience?
Absolutely. So like Caroline said, I'm Corbyn. I'm a CPA. I'm a USF alumni and an alumni of the Honors College. I graduated with my accounting degree in the spring of 2013, so a number of years ago. But I did a public accounting internship. My background was in public accounting with a firm named CBiz over here locally in the St. Pete Clearwater area. Spent about 7 years with them. Got licensed as a CPA while I was there, and moved on from that opportunity to the opportunity at the Baldwin Group, and have been there now 5 years this month.
Wow.
I joined them as a director of accounting, leading all technical accounting, and was promoted in April of 2021 to the chief accounting officer role. So I've been in that role for just over 3 years now.
How has it been like transitioning into that role?
It was different at first, moving from more of an auditor external mindset into more of the private public company mindset. But it's been really fulfilling and really rewarding. It's been very challenging.
Yeah.
When I joined Baldwin Risk Partners at the time, we're now the Baldwin Group, we were going through an IPO. I joined in May of 2019 and worked an insane number of hours to bring the company public and through the initial public offering process. And we went public in October of 2019. I probably did maybe 1 or 2 all-nighters when I was in college at USF studying for finals, but did a number of all-nighters through that process.
Yeah.
But it brought me a lot of experience, and I learned a ton. And I think that's what has made me successful at a young age, honestly.
Absolutely. And I think it's really amazing when you find a career that continually challenges you and gives you new obstacles and new ways to push yourself, because you're not getting into a career and then 2 years in flatlining.
Absolutely. Every day is different. I feel like I'm always learning. I'm always challenged, and that's something that I think a lot of honor students can probably resonate with, is not getting too comfortable and always wanting to grow and see your future potential.
So to talk about growth and how you have certainly lived up to an amazing potential, recently you were recognized with the 2024 USF Young Alumni Award. The Outstanding Young Alumni Awards program only recognizes a few alumni aged 35 or younger each year who have demonstrated emerging and unique innovation, creativity, and career success. You received the award for your accomplishments in the accounting field and for your mentoring contributions to the USF community. So what was it like to receive such a prestigious award from your alma mater?
So surreal. When I was up there on stage, it was 6 individuals that were recognized, so 5 others and myself. I almost felt not worthy, that I wasn't good enough, because you're with these entrepreneurs and individuals that have started their own businesses, a Major League Baseball pitcher, and I compare myself to other people a lot. I set very high standards for myself, as I'm sure a lot of women can even relate to. So it did feel very surreal. Like, wow, I kind of made it, right?
Absolutely.
Like I have accomplished a lot in my career, and being recognized for that was just very fulfilling. It made me realize that all of the long nights and the work that I've put in to get here was really worth it.
It's definitely nice when you finally receive that little pat on the back. Yeah. You're like, okay, I get to take a step back and celebrate that that I'm pretty awesome.
Yes, it's hard for me to do that. To kind of brag on yourself and recognize that. So I was a little uncomfortable. People are coming up to you that you don't even know. They're like, this is so phenomenal. Congratulations. They're excited to be in your presence. I'm like, who, me?
You're like, little old me?
Right.
Do you think the experience of going through that, looking back now, helped you maybe with imposter syndrome or feelings of worthiness in your career?
I think it has helped, certainly, but I do just still struggle with that. I think a lot of people do. And just getting to a point where you can say, I deserve this.
Absolutely. Right? That's really important. It is really important. So we have a lot of friends who just graduated this spring. Is there an application process for the award, or does someone recommend you?
It is a combination of both. You can apply yourself and put in an application, or somebody can nominate you. Really, the key criteria is more of a resume or a list of accomplishments. I would say it's individuals that are under the age of 35 that have demonstrated, incredible success in their career and giving back to the community. So just sharing a resume and things like that you've done in your career is important, either in the application process if you're submitting for yourself, or if you'd like somebody to nominate yourself, sharing that information with them so that they can nominate you.
Do you think when you were younger, or maybe just around the time you were graduating or just starting your career, that you would have expected achieving something like this?
No, not at all. Honestly, no. I could never have imagined things lining up the way that they did. And I attribute a lot of that to going to USF. Absolutely. And the success and the professors that I had, and the tough coursework and the challenges that you're put through while you're here in college, and even post-college career,
Absolutely.
Right? A lot of those learning experiences are what brought me to this point in my career and in my life.
Absolutely. Just for all the students out there now, how do you think you kind of push yourself once you're out of college to strive for greatness and not just kind of settle into the fact of okay, I'm making money now and I'm comfortable? What do you think is the importance of pushing yourself to excel in your career?
Yeah, it's definitely having that motivation and drive, right? Setting your goals and understanding what you want to achieve and accomplish. I always try to set the bar higher than even I think that I can achieve, and that is what inherently motivates me. And I think that's what other recent graduates or individuals can do, to say, where do I see myself 5-10 years from now? What do I want that to look like? Honestly, I don't think 5 years ago, if you had asked me, or 10 years ago, if I would be in a chief accounting officer role at a public company, here in Tampa Bay, was that something that was on my goals or visions list? Probably not, because when I was graduating school, I just knew I was going to go into public accounting, and I had a job lined up, and I wanted to see where that was going to take me. But a lot of it, I think, is just having that internal drive and that motivation to continue to strive for more than even you think is possible to achieve.
Yeah, and I think because you landed in a career that like you truly wanted to be in, that passion to be better or to achieve more kind of comes a bit more naturally, would you say?
I would, absolutely.
So, as an alum, you continue to give back to the USF community by, as we previously mentioned, you serve as a USF Muma College of Business corporate mentor. Could you tell us a bit about this role?
Absolutely. So I've been a corporate mentor for the USF College of Business for probably 3 or 4 years now. It was something that I was really passionate about when I was in public accounting. I had the opportunity to mentor a number of young staff and senior associates while I was a manager, and I enjoyed it. I like giving back in that area.
Absolutely.
I feel like I have enough career experience to give advice and to share, what to do, what not to do. So I was approached by somebody at the firm at the time and said, hey, this would probably be a good opportunity for you. You'd probably be really good at it. Is it something you'd be interested in? So a lot of it is, first generation college students,
Wow.
a lot of international students that are looking for mentorship from somebody that has graduated from the College of Business and that has a background in accounting, finance, marketing, general business. And I've really enjoyed it. I've mentored a number of individuals that have had accounting majors or not been accounting majors, and just giving general advice. What organizations should I be joining? Can we do mock interviews? Can you review my resume? Reviewing scholarship letters, just areas where I feel like I can give back and give advice.
I think all of that is super important, especially like when you're a business student, because landing a job is how you present yourself and who you know and what your experience has been, even so more than what your coursework was or even what your grades were. And so having someone to share that with you and having a mentor who is kind of maybe in the place or successful in a field that you want to be in, I think it takes a lot of stress off your back and gives you a lot of direction when you would have none.
Absolutely. And honestly, I had a lot of incredible professors when I was here at USF. I had a lot of older college friends that I looked up to, but I never really felt like I had a mentor in my field in accounting that, could show me the ropes, that could give me advice and tell me, what to do, what not to do. There are a lot of resources that are available at USF that, I was able to partake in and participate in, like career fairs and things like that, resume writing workshops. But I wish that I'd had somebody that was, 5 years, 10 years ahead of me in accounting saying, these are the things, this is the advice.
Absolutely.
And so that is one of the reasons that I wanted to step in and give back.
Yeah. What has it been like to actually step into maybe a mentorship role in a way that you haven't before and build personal relationships with students?
Yeah, it's been really fulfilling. It has been. These are relationships that I hope to keep long after the semester is over. My recent mentee, I shared with her, I know the program's ending, I know the semester is over technically, but you have my cell phone number, you have my email address. Please continue to reach out to me. I don't want the mentorship, experience to just end with the semester.
Absolutely. I think it's the same thing with like friendships.
Right.
It's like you want them to last and keep growing and to be able to fall back on that person maybe once you've kind of gone to a new place and you don't, once again, don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, be a resource for the future and be a connection. A lot of your career is about who you know and what you know. But just maintaining those connections and having somebody that you can reach out to 2 years from now, 3 years from now, even tomorrow. And whether it's just general advice or I'm looking for a new role or I'm looking to hire somebody, do you know of somebody? Like it's very important to maintain that network. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. How has kind of stepping into the mentorship role and investing in furthering someone else's career, how has that helped you? Has that transferred into your own, into skills or anything like that?
It's a good question. I don't know if it has, just because I look back and I think it's just something that has somewhat been innate for a while. I've always liked to kind of mentor. Maybe some of that was always having a younger sister and, having somebody who looked up to you that you were giving advice to. But it's something that I do enjoy.
So you are also an active member of the USF Accounting Circle, which aims to promote student and faculty success. Could you tell us a bit more about the organization and your role in it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I did just recently join the Accounting Circle board at the end of last year, but part of the main focus of the Accounting Circle is to give back to the students and enhance student professional development and success. There are a number of events that we host, like a welcome back picnic. In the fall, we host a 2-day annual CPE conference, which is actually coming up next week. And just really getting, professionals from the Tampa Bay area involved in the School of Accountancy and exciting students and potential accounting students about, what a future for you in accounting can look like.
I think it's really important not only to encourage students to reach out to firms and future employers, but to encourage the reciprocal relationship of employers reaching out to students and showing employers like how amazing our students are and how eager they are to learn and to take part in the community. I think that's really important.
Absolutely. And I think USF has, arguably, I live here, right? The best accounting program in the nation, probably. But there's also an honors society, Beta Alpha Psi, that students can join, and it gives you a lot of connection to professionals and businesses that are in public and private accounting, that accounting students then have an opportunity to join for internships or, full-time jobs after they graduate.
Accounting internships are very, very competitive, especially with what's the term, the Big Four? Big Five?
The Big Four, correct.
Yeah, they're housed in Tampa?
Yes. It's very important, I think, to do an internship while you're in school, especially for accounting. A lot of audit internships, tax-focused internships, just to get experience. It's something that I did while I was in school. I did an accounting internship, an audit internship specifically with CBiz, and it was nice because I had a job secured.
Absolutely.
While I was still in school, waiting for me once I graduated. You just needed to get that certificate, and then you could start full-time. So in a time when I was graduating back in 2013, that was very important to me to have a job lined up, and just to get the real world experience. You learn so much from the professors here. You learn so much in your coursework and your studies. It's very different actually getting into the real world and applying that. And I remember in my internship when I started, it almost feels like you don't know anything.
Oh, absolutely. You're like, what did I just do for 4 years?
What did I spend all this money for to get a diploma? But actually having that hands-on experience and learning from the seniors and the staff above you and knowing kind of the expectations and what you're getting yourself into.
That kind of mirrors the mentor relationship that you have, learning from the people above you, regardless of whatever environment you're in, and kind of investing in this cyclical relationship of the passing on of knowledge and showing people the ropes and giving them tips. I think that's really cool that you're giving back in that way, in the way that maybe some other people have kind of mentored you during your career.
Yeah. And the way I look at it, in order for me to step up to the next level, to move on to the next level, I need to be bringing somebody along with me. I need to be pulling them up and having them step up to the next role as well. So it's all about that coaching and mentoring and, professional development inside, in school and out of school, so that you're preparing, the next generation of accountants.
I think every college student's biggest fear is investing all their time and energy and money into getting this degree and then getting out of college and being like, oh, I don't have a job.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest fear. And so having really strong alumni relations, I think, and having mentorship programs definitely alleviates a lot of that stress and makes people's kind of career paths feel a bit more certain of okay, this person did it.
Yes.
And if they can do it, I can do it. And they're going to help me along and guide me. And so it's really nice to have that, especially for you working with, first generation college students and minorities who maybe, their family members or people they know don't have as much of a background in being able to kind of lift them up or give them advice on those situations.
Right.
So
yeah. Just
really
sometimes
cool.
Navigating the simple questions, right? Just knowing that you have a person to go to versus, okay, I have to make an appointment with the career services and wait for something to come up in 2 weeks versus, hey, I have a connection where I can reach out to them today, send them a short text or an email and get a response. That was one of the things I remember about USF. There's so many students and a lot of a lot of facilities and resources available. There's so many students that are trying to use those. So you need a counseling appointment or, just a mentorship appointment. What classes do I take? Where do I go next? How do I prepare for graduation? It's like, okay, make an appointment 2 weeks from now. I'll see you at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, definitely getting in for the advising sessions is really hard. And everyone always waits till like the last 2 weeks. I can say I typically wait until the last 2 weeks.
I did too.
And then it's really hard to get in.
I can relate.
So it is nice to have like those personal connections of like, okay, I can go straight to the source, someone who did it, someone who lived it, and came out on the other side successful.
Yes.
So you've talked about, how you've invested back into USF. What do you love so much about USF, and maybe why have you chosen to? What has drawn you back?
What's drawn me back is really just the opportunities that it provided for me. I didn't come to USF to be an accounting major. I came to USF to be a biomedical science major, and I thought I was going to be a doctor. And a lot of that changed, and you're young and still trying to figure out what it is you want to do in life and what you want to get out of it. And I changed my major, and the backup plan was I can always transfer. I can always go somewhere else. I came here for this program, and it didn't work out, but there are other opportunities available. One of the great things about USF is they have such depth of incredible programs that I didn't have to go somewhere else. I didn't have to transfer. I was able to move into the College of Business and, the School of Accountancy and have a phenomenal program at the same school that I was already going to for a phenomenal biomedical science program.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is the breadth of resources and, capabilities that USF offers. And I would not be where I am today without the education that I received. And I think it's just important to continue to stay involved so that USF continues to be a preeminent university and they continue to attract the best talent and smart students because Tampa's a great area and USF is just a fantastic school.
I think I've also switched my major like 7 million times.
You're not alone.
And I think that is the nice thing about USF, because when I was looking into transferring, it was like no one wants to take your credits. It's difficult to even go to another state of Florida university because the degree requirements are so different. And so it is nice that I've had the opportunity to explore and to be okay and to find really strong advisors and peers and mentors, regardless of what, department or degree that I was pursuing.
Right.
And I think that's cool about because USF kind of encourages that community connection and invests in its students, that students want to give back once they've left and moved on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and one thing I would say to students that are potentially taking classes, they're in their freshman, sophomore, junior year, you do not have to have it figured out.
Absolutely.
It is okay to change your major. It is okay to still be making up your mind. You're still so young when you come to school and trying to have your life figured out at 19 or 20 or 21. Oh my goodness, I was such a different person 10 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
And the things that I wanted out of life and the things that were important to me continue to evolve and change. Some of those core values are still very much the same.
Absolutely.
But you don't have to have it figured. That is the biggest piece of advice I can give somebody. It used to stress me out so much. What do you want to do? What do you want to be? It's what everyone asks you when you're graduating. You're like, I don't know. And then you get to college. You're like, I still don't know. I'm supposed to have it figured out. It's not like some switch that you can flip. Like, okay, you're here on campus. Like, you just have your life figured out. Yeah. It doesn't work that way.
It's like, I feel like we're programmed to think, okay, you need to know what you want to do. Like by the time you're 12 years old and have this master plan and have a perfect college experience and go straight into your career. And I feel like for at least 70% of people, that's not how things work out.
No, it's not. And you can still have a great experience. I did. I loved my time at USF. Oh my goodness. There are some days when I'm at work, I'm like, I'd love to be in college again.
The golden years.
Yes. Oh my goodness. To take a nap in the middle of the day. Oh, I miss it.
The most flexible schedule ever.
Yes. No classes on Friday. I would love to not go to work on Fridays.
I'm Charles Adams. I'm the Judy Genshaft Endowed Honors Dean at the Judy Genshaft Honors College at USF. To someone considering the Honors College, I would say get here as fast as you can. It's an amazing community. It's a community full of like-minded people who have lofty goals for themselves, who are serious about their studies, and who want to make a difference in the world. And it is extremely exciting to be part of that community.
You've talked a lot about how you kind of had moments of being lost in college. How do you manage that feeling while kind of like trying to enjoy your time in college and not just be bogged down by being like, oh, I don't know who I am and what I'm doing, and I keep changing careers and all of that stress that comes with that?
Mm-hmm. Definitely having a support system,
Mm-hmm.
Family, friends, people that you can turn to and say, I'm struggling, I need help,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing, where do I go? My mom was very much that person for me a lot. So when I came home and said, okay, I don't want to be a biomedical science major anymore, I don't want to be a doctor, what do I do? And she said, go undeclared, figure it out, take some classes and find out what you enjoy. You like math and science, take math and science classes. Like, take an engineering class, take a computer science class, like be a math major for a while. If that's what makes you happy, you'll figure it out. And so it's having those resources, and for me, it very much was my family and very close group of friends that you can rely on, and also having some sort of outlet, something that you enjoy. When you go to school and when you go to work, it's not just about school and work. There are other things that you have to have in your life to bring that harmony and that fulfillment, and whether it's hobbies or pets or, just being outdoors and getting outside for 30 minutes to just take a breath of fresh air and go for a walk. Like those are the things that can help me de-stress and, find some sense of direction when everything else just seems to be, spiraling in a sense.
Absolutely. You have to take that step back and mental break, or like you will lose sight of everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Were there any like specific hobbies or like organizations that you kind of used as an outlet while you were in your undergrad?
In my undergrad, I was a member of the Herd of Flanner marching band. So I grew up playing the flute. And so while I was here at USF, I joined the marching band. I marched the piccolo, which is like a small flute. And I was a member of the pep band. So having that musical society and that group of friends, it gave me something to look forward to. We had evening practices, but you had games on the weekend. It was fun to go to the football games. It was fun to go to the basketball games and the volleyball games. Like that was very much one of my outlets when I was at school. It's definitely changed since then. I hate to admit that I haven't picked up my flute or piccolo, even though I still have them, in a while. My husband and I have 2 nieces, and so I'll play like Disney tunes for them every once in a while. So I think around the holidays, they wanted to listen to like Let It Go, and so we played that. I played that on the flute for them. For me, my hobbies are just different nowadays. I love to be outdoors, love to be on the water. My husband and I are both certified scuba divers, recreational scuba divers. So
Amazing.
We like taking dive trips. We love to travel. We're actually going to Portugal next week. We leave a week from today. So
exciting.
Yes, very, very much. So those are the things that I use as my outlet to just get away and disconnect. For some people, they use the term work-life balance. Absolutely. And feeling like it has to always be in equilibrium. And for me, part of what gives me, fulfillment or gratification is just acknowledging that it is not always going to be 50-50. Sometimes work is going to require more. Sometimes home is going to require more. And sometimes there isn't a balance, in being okay with that, because I know that I've been working hard and I have a vacation coming up. I have something to look forward to. I have something that can take my mind off of that.
Absolutely. That is actually something I wanted to touch on, is talking about how you've achieved so much and how do you maintain that work-life balance and kind of like keeping yourself sane during all these times of like, okay, right now I have to grind. And when you're in that moment, sometimes it feels like it's time to give up or it's going to be too much. But being able to see like the forest through the trees of like, okay, something's better is coming. I go on my Portugal vacation in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's definitely different for everybody. For some people, it's more about flexibility and being at home more. for me, it's about having the ability to say no, and knowing that, there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely.
And having something planned, something to look forward to, whether it's just, hey, date night is coming up, and I know that I have something to look forward to, and I'm going to leave early to to go out and go to a movie or go to dinner, or looking forward to spending time with my nieces and seeing them and just getting to see life through their eyes at such a young age. Like,
that's so cool.
Things are like rainbows and unicorns sometimes. And like that just innocence is exciting to see. Right. But work-life balance for everyone looks different. And for me, it's just, some of it is flexibility and some of it is just having something to look forward to.
How do you think people find what work-life balance means to them, especially for like a young career professional who, they're just now transitioning from, the independence of the lifestyle of college into, maybe something that's more kind of structured, like a 9 to 5.
Try different things. See what works for you. For some people, it is being at home. For some people, it is having defined hours and a set schedule. For some people, it's not. It's having the flexibility to go out for lunch and not be questioned about that. So I think for everyone it is different, and you just have to try different things and see what works for you. Again, it's all about like that sense of fulfillment where you're getting what you need from your home life and from your work life.
Absolutely. And touching back on your time at USF, you were an honor student and a member of the Herd of Thunder marching band. How has the university changed since your time here?
Not much. I mean, I can still get around without a map. The campus still looks the same. To me, it doesn't seem like it really has changed at all, which is great, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah. It stayed tried and true.
Yes.
Loyal.
Yes.
What was your honors college experience like?
So I lived on campus for 3 years while I was here at USF, and the first 2 years were with the Honors College in the Honors College dorms. So way back when in the Cypress dorms, I was on an honors floor and, got to meet a lot of great friends and new people through that, living experience and being with like-minded individuals. And that was one of the first inaugural groups of students to live in Juniper Poplar.
Wow.
So it's probably been around 10 plus years at this point. But that was a cool experience to go in and be like, I'm the first person to actually like live in this dorm room.
Seeing the growth like while you're in the honors college is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So those were cool experiences, just living on campus, meeting a lot of new people. But also just a lot of the events that they had. I remember a camping experience my freshman year, and when I graduated high school, I was 16, so I turned 17 the summer before my freshman year. And one of the funniest stories is I had to get a permission slip from my parents because I couldn't sign the liability waiver to go camping with a bunch of honors college students. What do you think's gonna happen?
You're like, I'm in college and I need a permission slip from my mom.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That is probably one of the funniest stories that I can share, and I still laugh about to this day because I wasn't, legal. I wasn't 18. I couldn't sign for myself, but it was fun doing, events and experiences like that.
I know a lot of people love the little trips that the honors college does because the LLC is so great, but actually getting to go on those like little camping trips, or I know they did a trip to like St. Augustine a few weeks ago. I think that the fact they facilitate those trips is really cool because you're actually building those friendships in a more fun environment, a more engaging environment, getting 100%. To go on a fun little trip.
Right.
So I know that's a lot of honor students' fondest memories is like looking back on that and being like, oh, I was new and I was scared and I got to go on this trip and make friends.
Yes, absolutely. That was 100% my experience.
What did you enjoy most about your time at USF in general?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think really one of the biggest highlights was being in the marching band and attending a lot of the games. The bowl games were so much fun. We went to the same people locally, but we went to a bowl game in North Carolina. And the one and only time I've been to Canada, we went to the Toronto International Bowl while I was here at USF. And so those were things I look back very fondly on. I loved going to the games. I just loved the experience of being on the field and marching and playing, and just that sense of camaraderie with such a large group.
Absolutely. Did you guys play like all the games, or was it just like football and
football primarily for the marching band, the Herd of Thunder, and then we had a pep band that went to basketball games. Occasionally, like some volleyball games. But really, it was basketball and football.
Were the sports a bit more? Was there more winning going on during that time? I don't mean to dog on the
no
USF
comment.
football team. Our basketball team's pretty good, right?
Yeah, I mean.
The women's basketball?
The women's basketball, yeah. Yeah, we did go to, I don't know, maybe the Sweet 16 while I was in the pep band as well. Got an opportunity to go to New York and go to Boston. So a lot of travel, like a lot of opportunities that just being in the band provided. So I look back very fondly on a lot of those memories.
It's cool that you got to like go to Canada and go to New York.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Were you expecting like marching band to take you across America?
Not at all.
The tour?
No, the tour across America. No, but they were great experiences. We got to go to Niagara Falls when we were up there.
Wow.
Like I said, we had an opportunity to go to Boston. We went ice skating and bowling. Like they planned a lot of activities while we traveled, but absolutely nothing that I would have expected. Like, just, bunch of band nerds going out to Connecticut and New York to support the basketball team.
I'm sure the basketball team appreciated it.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you think, you talked a lot about your undergrad experience and doing all these fun things, but also, having the trouble of navigating, like, who am I in my undergrad and, like, what do I want to be? What do you think in your undergrad prepared you to be where you are now, since you've reached a lot of success at a very young age?
Yeah, I think one of the things that really was great is, planning and your schedule out, right? You set your own schedule and when you're going to have courses and when you need to get your coursework done. Like, I think it really did prepare me through that aspect to create my own calendar, to prioritize and understand, like, oh, I have this paper coming up and this exam, but this homework. Like, how do I get all of that done? There are only so many hours in the day. So I think it really did teach me like a sense of prioritization and time management that has been invaluable today.
And you have to do your work.
You have to.
You can't just
can't just not turn it in.
I mean, you can.
You can't just not go to work on Thursday.
Exactly. You have to do it even if you don't want to do it sometimes.
Yes.
So kind of in retrospect, what do you think has been your kind of your key to success, how you've kind of amounted to be in the position you are now?
Yeah, for me, it was saying yes to the challenging projects. Those are the things that give you the experience that other people aren't getting. And by that, I mean, taking the out-of-town client travel jobs. At one point in time when I was in CBiz, I basically lived in Cincinnati for almost 6 weeks.
Wow.
At a client site and was working around the clock. So many nights where I was still there at 2, 3 a.m. Those are not fun projects.
No,
they are not.
Like it.
But it taught me so much. I, had the opportunity to just meet so many different people and learn about different industries and different clients. And I know that that's kind of unique to a specific situation, but allowing yourself to say yes to those, you have to, maintain that balance and know when to say no, especially when, you need a break and your mental health, needs that. But for me, it was accepting those challenges and saying yes to those challenges and getting that experience.
It seems to be like tuning into the timing of things and when it's right to accept and when it's right to say no.
Yeah, I kind of said it better.
Yeah. Sometimes in your early years, it's the time to grind.
Yes, absolutely. And looking back, could I do those things again, where I am in, my point in my career and home life? Probably not.
Yeah.
But it was the right opportunity and the right thing to do at the time to get that professional development and growth.
How do you go about putting yourself out there and maybe overcoming the fear of being the person to raise your hand and say, oh, I volunteer. I'll be the tribute. I'll go do it.
Well, some of it's being voluntold. Honestly. But you have to have that internal drive and motivation to want to do those things. Don't volunteer if you don't want to do it. And there was nothing that I said yes to that at the end of the day, I really questioned if that was, the right opportunity for me at the time. I knew going into it that, okay, this is going to be a challenge. It's going to be some long nights. It's not going to be the easiest project. It's outside of my comfort zone. There were a lot of times where I was getting into something for the first time or, learning something new, working in a new industry, a new client, and I needed that.
So now that you've received this award and we've seen what you've done, all these amazing things, what are kind of your aspirations for the future?
Oh my goodness, that is a great question. I think I ask myself that probably every other week. It is challenging because I've achieved, success at such a very young age. And I don't know what the next step looks like for me. I really enjoy what I'm doing. I enjoy the role that I'm in and the people that I work with. But at some point, maybe that next step is being in a chief financial officer role. Maybe the next step is getting an executive MBA. I did my undergraduate at USF, but didn't get a graduate degree. I got my CPA certification. Maybe it is going back to school and, doing something, learning something more, getting another degree to help further my career so that I could join a larger organization or a bigger organization or do something more with my skill set.
Would you have any advice for people who are maybe in a similar situation, who, they've kind of reached a place in their career and their schooling where they don't know what's coming next and it's just kind of your choice to decide?
What advice would I give? Just see it through. One day at a time. If you have goals and aspirations, like set those and work towards those. But it is okay. And I think I've said this, like setting the bar so high for ourselves. I don't want to get comfortable, but it is okay to say that this is the right place for me for now.
Exactly.
And not needing to be looking at the next step and what's around the corner, just kind of enjoying the lane that I'm in
that
life.
Kind of, sometimes I think like being present in what you're doing and not always looking too much to the future gives you a bit more insight of like, okay, what's next can be determined by what's happening now.
Right. Yeah, kind of just enjoy what you're doing. Live for today.
Yeah, exactly. Carpe diem.
Exactly.
Now, normally we end with advice for students, but you've already shared so much wisdom with all of the audience, and we thought we might end with a quick game, and on a lighter note. So we're going to do a little word association. But the trick is you have to limit yourself to using only one word to describe the prompt.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Name one word to describe the new Honors College building.
Impressive.
Attending a USF sporting event.
Loud.
The Marshall Student Center.
Food court. Is that one word?
It's hyphenated now. USF professors.
Inspiring.
Tampa Bay.
Home.
And USF students.
Smart.
Well, that is all the time we have today. Thank you all so much for joining us. And thank you, Corbyn, for sharing a bit about your journey. And we wish you continued success in the future.
Thank you so much for having me, Caroline.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me back in the studio. I hope you all enjoyed this segment. It was really great to talk to Corbyn about all of her success at USF and how she is investing in students now. And speaking of student success, if you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the Honors College, don't forget to check the Honor Roll newsletter and our website at usf.edu/honors for all upcoming events, updates, and news. That will do it for this week's episode. The Honor Roll podcast is recorded in the Judy Genshaft Honors College at the University of South Florida Tampa campus. Production assistance is provided by honors student Abby Malloy and Professor Adam Davidson. Thank you all so much for listening. Please do not forget to rate and review our podcast. We appreciate your feedback. Please tune in next week to hear more honors stories and talk to members of the Judy Genshaft Honors College. Until next time, go Bulls.